Okay, so Estelle, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Thank you for joining us for that very first APU interview series. Estelle, you are the head of Jumia Travel. I believe you are operating in Africa since the last 6 years. Am I correct?
Yes, exactly.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the potential of the market?
So I think in this market I see two important trends. The first one is the fast growth of the travel and tourism industry, but also very importantly, the fast growth of the internet penetration. And in that context, I strongly believe that OTAs will play a key role in the future of the travel industry here. So when I say that the travel and tourism industry is growing at a fast speed, today I have a few numbers in mind. If we look at the number of international travelers in Africa, we see that it was 58 million in 2016, grew to 67 million last year, and UN World Tourism Organization has projected that by 2030 it will be 165 million tourists. So there is a very strong dynamic, also in terms of the contribution to the economy. Africa is the continent which has the second fastest growth of the travel and tourism contribution to the GDP, which was at 5.9% last year. And I think this is something which is not always acknowledged. I see some important drivers of this evolution. The first one being that I think there is a better understanding now of what is possible in terms of business opportunities in Africa. Better understanding from both the international companies and also the local and regional companies. I also see that in terms of promotion of the tourism attraction, there has been a big effort made in many countries, in Kenya, with Magical Kenya, in Ethiopia, in many countries there is really now a bigger focus from the government to really promote the local attractions, and then there is more information available online. And travel, which before was perceived as something very expensive in Africa, is becoming more and more affordable and more and easier, let's say. I was mentioning the internet penetration, which is growing very fast. I think here also there is still some misperception about Africa. When we look at the number of internet users in Africa, it's over 500 million internet users. It's more than the total number of internet users in North Africa, in North America, I mean. And when we look at Nigeria alone, it has more internet users than the USA. So of course we are talking of different population in size, we are talking of a different internet penetration, but I mean it's a huge market which has often been ignored. And when we look also at the demographics of the continent, the fact that 70% of the population is less than 30 years old, we see that there is this dynamism for adoption of new technology. We saw, like with mobile money, how fast it was adopted by the population. In Kenya, where I come from, lots of the administrative tasks that you have to do, you can only do them online now. So there is this embracement of technology. And in this context, for Jumia, we really think that e-commerce, online services is going to be part of everyone's daily life in the very near future. And daily life because it's going to be where people will buy products and services, but also in terms of job creations. We recently participated in a study from BCG, which was projecting that by 2025, which is like tomorrow, there is over 3 million jobs in Africa which will be created by the online marketplaces, and 10% in the tourism and travel industry. So definitely there is this dynamism of the travel and tourism industry, but it's going to be supported more and more by this adoption of online services, and OTAs will be the one capturing a big part of that growth.
Sure. And can you tell us, how does the local versus regional market contribute to the growth of tourism in Africa?
So I think there are two things. First, it's already contributing, but what is more striking is that it's contributing more and more, and it's really accelerating at an impressive speed. Today, it's about 4 out of 10 international travelers in Africa, which are from the continent. That's data from the UN Conference for Trade and Development. And this is only like, we're only talking of international travelers. Like, if we look then at the local travelers, more and more, you know, from, we see locally there is more and more local travelers. So already it's a reality. In Kenya, the third biggest source market for tourists is Uganda.
Okay.
So there is the US, UK, and then it's Uganda. And over the last 5 years, number of arrivals from Uganda has more than doubled. It is the strongest dynamism. So the future is really in this local and regional dynamism. So what are the drivers of this growth? I think it was mentioned earlier today. There is the growing middle class. Difficult to estimate the size of the middle class, but somewhere between 30 and 40% of the population belonging to the middle class, having more and more expectation in terms of travel. The political will to integrate the region. We had last year the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which was signed by 49 countries. Today, it's very few percentage of the exports which are done intra-region. It's about 17%. There is lots of potential for this growth of the regional economy, and this will bring lots of regional business travelers. Visa openness, also it was mentioned. There are big efforts which are being made in East Africa. We have, you know, free movement of people between Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda. And so there is this dynamism. And on the other hand, when we look at international supply of travelers, it has been very volatile. Also, it was mentioned, you know, we had this political crisis, we had some sanitary crises like Ebola, we had terror attacks. All these crises have not always been well perceived or well understood outside of the continent. And hotels have very, very much suffered from huge drop in increase in incoming international travelers. At Jumia, we were really happy to be there at that point, you know, to support the hotel industry, because for us, 90% of our customers are from Africa. So when this crisis happened, we are here to support the hotel industry. We've really developed like a unique value proposition where we have like now in Africa, we are in many countries, Jumia is ranked 7 or 8 top websites, you know, in terms of visits. And we've developed a very, very unique offer. We have customer service teams operating across 14 countries in 20 languages, websites available in English, French, but also local languages like Swahili, Yoruba, possibility to pay with the local currency, over 20 currencies, while on most OTAs, it's 4 or 5 currencies, 4 or 5 local currencies which are available. All the local payment methods, like mobile money, etc. So we are really like customizing our platform to make it a great tool for the population, the local population, to travel at a very easy and affordable rate.
So if I'm Ugandan, for instance, I want to travel to Kenya, or the opposite, the other way around, I will, instead of going on a website of a big hospitality brand, I will most probably go on Jumia Travel, where I can find not only the website in my language, could be Luganda or Swahili, whatever, but also I will be able to pay in a currency.
Yeah, with MTN money, and you will be able to access resident rates, which are only available on our platform. And you know, you started by saying you will go to our platform, but you will already be on our platform, actually, because Jumia being like one of the biggest brands in Africa, we already have lots of the customers of hotels who are already on our website once or twice a week to buy things, to order food, etc. So people are already on our platform, and then they find there an offer which is extremely relevant to them, resident rates, possibility to pay in their local currency, possibility to pay with MTN money, etc. So it's really where it's happening.
And if I want to, I'm going on Jumia Travel. What kind of can I book any type of hotel, any type of brands?
Yeah, any type of brand, any type also of accommodation. We've really developed our platform to make it a one-stop shop where you have the hotels, but you also have the villas, the apartments, the small Airbnb, etc. We have a very large scope. I was listening this morning to one of the presentations where it was mentioned that there are 5,000 hotels in Africa. On our platform, we have over 25,000 properties listed. So you see the gap. You know, it's what do we consider as a hotel or not?
Accommodation.
And the fact that it's very like there is a large choice, which is often ignored. People don't know that it can be very cheap to travel. They don't know it. So we are really like on a mission to deliver that message that it's easy to travel and it's very affordable. So everyone should try it.
And I know Jumia Travel is producing a lot of data actually, and you released today, I think, the Jumia Hospitality Report. Maybe we can share a few findings with us today.
Yeah, sure. So first, why this report? I think it's important to see that in Africa in the past year, it has been extremely difficult to find data about the trends in the tourism and travel industry. And when we started our business 6 years ago, like when we had to forecast the growth, when we had to build our business, we were really struggling. There was like a lack of visibility on how the industry is doing. And I think this is a big impediment to the growth of the travel and tourism industry. So as a very passionate player, we decided 3 years ago to start gathering in one place macro data, micro statistics about the travel industry, local data from our own operations, and also opinions from leaders of the industry. And this report was very well received, and we had people asking us next year to do another one, and this year it's the third time that we are launching this hospitality report. So what are the key findings of this year?
Any surprises?
Some of the surprises. I think the first one is a drop in the average price of bookings, and it's a drop by 14%. And the average price of the bookings on our platform is now at $100. Also here we are, thinking about what has been said earlier today. There is a lot of offer for, luxury hotels, etc. But where there is a growing demand and huge potential is really in the lower segments of the hotel. And we're very happy to see this drop in price because, again, our mission is to make travel easy and affordable. So we are making some significant steps in that direction. A second data which is interesting is the growth of the mobile searches. And we are always saying that Africa is all about mobile and you need to have a mobile-first approach. But the kind of growth, the kind of speed at which people are going mobile is quite surprising. A year ago, we had 57% of the searches on our website done from a mobile phone. Today, it's over 70%. I mean, we're going towards like an only mobile, service. And then the third data that I wanted to share is the increase in trust in our platform, which can be seen by the increased number of transactions by credit card. So when we launched our service 6 years ago, we were actually offering to the customer to pay either online or pay when they arrive at the hotel. Because there was such a lack of trust in online services, we had over 80% of the customers choosing to pay when they arrive at the hotel. Then we managed to bring this number a bit down because we introduced the local method of payment, which were more trusted by people, and so people started to pay a bit more in advance through mobile money. But this year, we see that the share of credit card payment is increasing by 24%. For you to put your credit card details on an online website, in Africa, it's not something, expected. Like, people have lots of trust issues, with online. And finally, we're seeing this dynamism and this trust in online services. And so when we see this, of course, we're extremely pleased because it means that we're getting there. Like, people now think of online services as a trusted place. They think about Jumia as a trusted place where to organize their travel and their travel in Africa and elsewhere also.
So what are your plans? What are the plan of Jumia Travel for the next, I don't know, for the next coming years?
Our mission remains the same, making travel easy and affordable. So to make it easier, we've introduced flight marketplace. So on our website now, people can find flight tickets, both from international airlines, but also from local airlines. And these local airline tickets, before they were extremely difficult to find. Often you had to go to the office of the local airline. It was not easy to compare the price. So we've created a one-stop shop for flight tickets offers in Africa. And we brought online not only the rates which were already available from the airlines, but also rates negotiated by local travel agencies. And so we brought offline offers online, competing with online offers, always in the same ambition to increase the competition, to bring the price down, to make it possible for everyone to travel.
So you are the head of Jumia Travel, but we have 3 minutes. What can you tell me about Jumia? I mean, exactly, what can I buy online with Jumia? I can buy cars, I can buy clothes, I can buy travel. What else? Can I buy food?
Anything. Yeah. Jumia is really becoming like the daily companion of many people in Africa, you know? You can order your meals, you can book your hotel, you can book your flight, you can order products from local suppliers, you can order products from China, you can find an offer to rent a flat, you can find an offer to buy a car. We really have this ambition to be there at any point of time. People may need us. We've also launched recently a service called Jumia One, through which you can buy airtime, you can pay for your internet at home, you can pay for your electricity, you can pay for your water. All this, you know, it's part of people's everyday life in Africa. You have like prepaid account for electricity, you always need to top up, etc.
So I don't know if you can disclose that, but what kind of volume of transaction are we talking about here? When you have so many services available, I mean.
Yeah, last year it was over 8 million parcels that we delivered, but that's just the products. Okay. So after that you have like all the food orders, you have all the hotel booking, you have all the flight bookings, you have all the, so we're talking of, you know, millions and millions of transactions, and it's we're the largest e-commerce platform in Africa, and it has been a tough journey. You know, it's not always easy, and we were bringing something very new to the continent. But I think it's rewarding because we see that now there is this embracement of technology, and we start to feel that it was a good intuition to launch these services, and where the future should be bright.
Sure, I'm sure. Thank you, Estelle, for being with us for that very first APU interview series. And tomorrow we're going to discuss about impact investment and what that means for the hospitality industry. Thank you, Estelle.
Thanks a lot.